Hello, everybody. Oh, you want to cuddle? I think we are recording. Okay. Yeah, it looks like it. Hello, everybody. How are you? So, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Caroline, which you probably know because you've seen my videos, liked my videos, and subscribed because we've had a lot of new subscribers lately. So welcome everybody. This here is Annabelle. Annabelle is my very first reborn. My gosh, maybe 12 years ago now. 11 years ago, something like that. A very long time ago. And she is dressed today, as I am, in the fibromyalgia colours. And the colours that represent fibromyalgia. So it's always nice to have a colour because it's easily recognisable. What people are talking about or what they mean. If you see somebody with a purple ribbon, it could mean, well, it probably means a chronic illness. So like fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, ouch, won't keep doing that, and lupus. If anybody knows anything else that is purple, you could just let me know. And so that's what I'm going to talk about today. May is Fibromyalgia Awareness Month, and the day, the Fibromyalgia National Awareness Day is, I've forgotten, it's either May the 12th or the 15th, whichever. Anyway, I was away that day, so I didn't do my usual. Each year I do a fibromyalgia talk. And, you know, to help raise awareness of people living with this condition. It is a lifelong condition once it starts. And it is, there are lots of different points that you need, lots of different, there's not like, to diagnose fibromyalgia, you don't just take a blood test. You can't just take a blood test. It's characterized in certain symptoms, and so you go to the doctor with these symptoms, they gradually rule out lots of other things and eventually settle with fibromyalgia because it takes such a long time to rule out all the other things that it possibly could be, because it overlaps, the symptoms for fibromyalgia overlap with so many other things. Now, normally when I do a chat like this as well, what are you doing, honey? Normally when I do a chat like this, I have a coffee, and it's called a coffee and a chat. I don't have a coffee because it is too hot. I've just literally just finished an ice lolly, an ice lolly before I came on. So I'm sat here in my little den, my little hillside, and this is where I have all of my collectible items. So my reborns are not my collectible items. They have their own room up in the bungalow, my nursery, and yeah, that is for these guys. I do have Annie down here, obviously, today. And I do have Molly, who is sat behind me in one of my vintage prams. So really, all I want to do with this video is just raise awareness of fibromyalgia. So what does fibromyalgia means? Well, fibro is about your tissues in your body. My is your muscles, and algia is pain. So it basically means pain between the connective tissues in your muscles. So the muscles and how it connects to our skeleton, to the rest of our body through tendons and things like that. There is some sort of like stressor in that connection. That is how the word fibromyalgia comes up. Fibro meaning the connective tissues, my meaning the muscles, and algia meaning pain. So I think fibro is a Latin, comes from the Latin. My and algia both come from Greek, if I remember correctly. I could look it up, but I've had fibro so long and I've been saying it for so many years that that probably is correct. But it could not be, because also one of the symptoms of fibro is, yes, Caroline, what is it? Brain fog. God, I'm such a pleb. Oh my God. So fibro really causes widespread pain. So even like I was going like that just now, that is hurting. As it really does all hurt all all up here. So it is widespread pain and extreme tiredness, and not just the tiredness where you have a nap and you revive yourself. It's an extreme tiredness. And every one of us, it's really, really hard to diagnose fibro because everybody is different. But to diagnose something, you've got to have some similarities for the health professionals to figure out what it is and give you the appropriate treatments. So they've come up with a 16-point pain markers on your body, and then other things like the tiredness, like the brain fog. So it's really a history, and that's why it takes so long for fibro to really be diagnosed, which is kind of like an average of 7 years. It can be, I think it's more like between 4 and 7 years, I think it takes to get a diagnosis. For some people, getting a diagnosis takes many years, and it is just sad. It is really sad that you're not listened to. So I'm gonna, you can just go on the NHS website if you're in the UK, and there is the equivalent in other countries, or any association, and to get the information, to get, up to date. My back is glowing. To get up to date information. And but I'm going to tell you from my experience and how I feel about fibro. So I believe that I've had chronic fatigue syndrome for most of my life. I believe that, and I believe that it started from my childhood. So there will be some triggers throughout this conversation, because I kind of want you to know where mine came from, why it started. I try not to go into too depth, but I don't have anything. I'm not reading from anything. I haven't written anything down. This is just coming from my head. And this is really how I like my coffee and a chats. But please listen, because I'm also doing a giveaway today. I'm doing 2 giveaways, actually. I've got 2 packages. Where are the packages, Annie? Do you want to hold on to the packages? So I'm doing 2 giveaways, and you'll find the answers in the conversations that I'm going to have with you right now. So giveaway number 1, or A, I mean, that's not no order, it's just things that I've got, is a 0 to 3 lilac cotton romper, baby grow, pure lilac, gorgeous, and that is size 0 to 3. Lovely, and it's lovely, gorgeous cotton. And I would have got that, I believe. I don't think I would have bought that at one of the doll shows. I think I probably got that off of a live, Calico Creations live on Facebook. And then a purple muslin bib. This is all brand new. Dummy clip that has purple and the butterfly, and a dummy. I think this is an Advent dummy. It's a glow in the dark, and it has a butterfly. Can you see the butterfly on it? And it's not going to come up very clear, I don't think, but it's got a butterfly on it, and it glows in the dark. So that's giveaway A. So everybody will be entered into the both giveaways. So it's not something for one and something for the other. It is just I'm giving away two gifts. This is nothing to do with YouTube, not affiliated with anybody. This is my own giveaway. And I am responsible for it. So I just pop that in the bag. Anybody who knows from my giveaways, you also get an individual pack of coffee, a little treat, and a coaster, because I call this a coffee and a chat. And so when I do my giveaways in a coffee and a chat, I like to give away a coffee. I usually give a coffee sachet and a tea sachet, and maybe a flavoured tea as well. A little treat, so maybe a bar of chocolate or some vegan sweets, so something, and a coaster, a little coaster to put your cup on. So I have one here, for instance. This is a coaster. It's a protector for you, so you put your hot drink on it, protects your table. So that will also be included. All right, you're going to hold on to that one? Mm-hmm. You look so pretty today with the butterfly in your hair, don't you? It's so glistening. Right, and then I've got number 2. So number 2 includes a pre-loved item, which is this blanket. Okay, this lovely blanket. I have so many blankets, so I thought I'd do this one in the giveaway. So that is the pre-loved item. It's super soft. It's lovely lilacs. Lovely lilacs. And then the lighter, I think it's a lighter lilac-y pink colour, has glitter in it. Lovely. And a purple sippy cup, brand new. Another purple bib, muslin bib, brand new. And then a dummy and a clip, again brand new. But this dummy has a ladybird on it. But the symbol for fibromyalgia is a butterfly. But I could only get one one with a butterfly. And I could, before I found that pack, I only found one with a purple dummy with a ladybird on. And then when I went into Morrison's a few weeks ago, I found the Advent ones that had a ladybird on. But I'd already got this one. So this is a purple dummy. I'm not sure what it is. Newbie, maybe? No, I don't know. Can't remember. I've got the casing thing with a ladybird on, and then this dummy clip. It's got lilac in it, lilac and pink. It's got all sorts of colours in it. So that is giveaway B. So as I say, everybody will be entered into A and B. I mean, I don't even take a winner out. Don't even take a winner out. So if you won A, you'll still get entered into B. The only difference for the giveaway is that my channel members get 2 entries, because they are channel members and they pay for to be a member of my channel. And so this they have a few perks, and this is one of them this time. So they get 2 chances to win. So those will be the giveaway. So listen out for the question as I'm talking, won't you? Listen out for the questions as I'm talking. I just need to keep this on because I'm waiting for someone to message me. So if you see me looking down, it's because I've got a tablet here and I'm just waiting for somebody to message me. So, okay, so my story. So this is what I'm going to tell you from my story. It's Annie. Oh, sorry. There she is. Look, she's smiling at you. She's wearing a vintage dress from Adams. I think it's from Adams, which is where I shopped a lot for my children when they were young. Yes, it is. Adams, 9 to 12 months. So don't tip your head back like that, because it will hurt. And it is in lilac and pink, kind of like checky things. And Annie has 3/4 limbs, so that's why she usually wears a t-shirt, a long vest, but pushed up like this in the summer. Annie is more of a winter girl. She was reborn in the November, came to me in the February, I think. And so she's like a winter baby. And then it's got this like band around the middle, which goes all the way around to give a tie at the back, and then 3 buttons down. It's really, really lovely. A little bit of ribbon, lilac ribbon, goes around the bottom. And then these lovely little butterflies are, let me pick you up. See these little butterflies here? So the symbol for fibromyalgia is a butterfly. The colour is purple, hence us both wearing purple. And turn your head to the side then, Annie, so people can see. Look at the beautiful headband she's got. Doesn't she look amazing? She's Mummy's girl. Shall we just take a thumbnail photo? Smile! Say cheese! We took a thumbnail photo. Let's just turn you down just a little bit so you can see us. And we'll try again, shall we? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Cheese! Mwah. So, yeah, so, okay, let's start. I believe myself personally that I've had chronic fatigue syndrome for ever since as far back as I can remember. Like, I think because of holding in so much as a child of what was going on at home as a child, that when I eventually left home, my body just like went, ugh. And that's it. And I've always, always, always complained of being tired. And even having my first daughter, I struggled to get out of bed in the mornings. And then you just get dragged into the whole of life. And it is like being on a treadmill, keep going and going and going. And well, Caroline, you're tired because you've got children. You're tired because now you've got a dog in the family. You're tired because now you're teaching. You're tired because you're working full time. You're tired because the kids are older and you're doing after school clubs. You're tired because. That's what I was told. Then so that's basically what I was told. But in 1996, my children were 1, 2, and 8. And what did I say? 96. Yeah, 8, 2, and 1. And I had just finished a year-long course at the local college, whilst I was working as well in a grocery store. I had done a college course full-time, which full-time in England doesn't mean that you go into the classroom full-time. It means you're expected to do full-time study, which means that you do so much in the classroom and so the rest of it in your own time. So that's what it means in post-16 education. And but I had to work as well because I was like the major breadwinner. And so I passed this course, which enabled me to get into university. And the university that was an hour's drive away, and 4 days a week. So 4 days a week I had to drive an hour away and an hour back, work on the weekends. So the university was Monday to Friday, 4 days within there, anytime within that, and still work on the weekends in the grocery store. So I carried on doing that for the 3 years of my university degree, as well as having small children, yada, yada, yada. And lots of things happened in 1996, 95 and 96. A huge disruption in my family happened, a huge painful experience, horrid time. And so if I went to see the doctor, I did go to see the doctor, but if I went to see the doctor, it was usually, well, now you're going to university, what do you expect? You're bound to be tired, you're bound, things are bound to ache. Yeah. So then when I started driving to this university, I started getting really, really bad pains in my elbows, and my elbows are hurting today, and I've been driving today, but they hurt. They really, really hurt, and to tears. I would like try and drive with straightening my arms out, and I've always had a bad back. I could never cycle because it really hurt my legs to cycle. I can cycle and I can ride a bike, but I've never liked doing that, and I've walked everywhere. But sorry, it's fibro fog. What was Mummy saying? Talking about my elbows. Yes, my legs already hurt. So I was already, that had already been marked down from the doctors, and my back. But my elbows, oh, it was excruciatingly painful. And I started wearing like things on my, like sports injury things on my elbows because they were hurting so much. Anyway, I get through university. I passed with a 2-1. So that's like you get a first, then you get a 2-1, a 2-2, and a 3. And then I think that's it. And I had a 2-1. So I had 2 babies, like 1-year-old when I started that, and a 2-year-old, and then my 8-year-old. And so then I finished university in 1999. And throughout all of that time, I'd been going to my doctors, and he'd been telling me, well, what do you expect? You're doing this, 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 and this. And I wanted to be a teacher. And so I started doing teaching practice. So then he's like, and now you're doing this. So, you got through uni and now you're doing this, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so I passed my course to be a teacher. So that was another year after my degree to do that. And I finally, in 2000, got diagnosed, end of 19, I can't remember the exact date, but it was the end of 1999, beginning of 2000, that I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue. Finally had a diagnosis. But when I got my diagnosis, and like my doctor said that that's what he thought it was, and so I went to see a rheumatologist. He agreed, and then he told me I'd be in a wheelchair. I'd end up in a wheelchair. I'm sorry to tell you this, he said, but you will be ending up in a wheelchair. So back in that time, 2000, it was still like relatively new concept. My doctor was really young, and he was I don't have him now since I moved. I don't have that surgery, but I grew up with him. My girls grew up seeing him, because he came to our surgery when I was pregnant with Rebecca, my eldest, and he was taking over from my doctor who was retiring. So I've known him, Dr. Scott, for so long, and he was such a lovely doctor. And he was just so good, so much better than they are today. So this was like years ago. I mean, we're 2025 now, so this was in 2000, but I've been seeing him since 1996 when I started going to university at Bath. And then so then I start teaching. And because I'd just been diagnosed, I went like really part-time teaching. Started teaching psychology 6 hours a week. And I was teaching A-level students. So I was teaching them their first year. So that's just a short time. But then when you get into the second year, they, from that first year, move on to the second year. And then you get new ones come into the first year. So then I'd started it with, a few hours. And then I was given more hours. So now I was teaching more because I was teaching year 1 and year 2. So I was getting more hours. Also, my life, my marriage was absolutely diabolical. My marriage was just awful to live through. And you bumble on thinking that you're doing the best you can. So I'm not going to talk about the marriage situation, but you bumble along, think you're doing the best you can, and all the time I've been diagnosed with this, and I'm terrified, absolutely terrified, that I'm going to end up in a wheelchair and be reliant on anybody, because this, so far in my life, had been hell. I sort of started to think started to rely on somebody, and they just really broke that trust horrendously. And it was so bloody sad. And so I was like, I don't want to be in a wheelchair. I'm not having anybody. I'm not relying on anybody. That is it. That is it. I spent my entire childhood looking out for myself, dragging myself up, and surviving, living. And that's why I have a different outlook in life, because as a child, I could many times have been dead. But the little inner girl in here, so bloody strong. Ow! Stop doing that. My inner girlie is so bloody strong. She amazes me. She amazes me every single day. Anyway, and she's the one that makes me get up, you know. I don't want to get up, but Kathy does. Anyway, so it was hard. It was really, really hard. Yeah, sorry. It's fibro fog. It's really, that's another symptom. So, but I didn't connect all of these symptoms that I was having. See, the only thing I was really having was pain, absolute pain, and being so incredibly tired. And but I had a hugely stressful situation. Then my body was just shutting down. I spent something like 3 weeks not being able to get out of bed. So every time I lifted my head off the pillow, my head was pounding so much. I went into hospital. I was in hospital for a little while. And in the end, I ended up on, now I take beta blockers, propranolol. It thins the blood a little bit, and I don't have such heavy migraines now, but that was awful. In every single time, anytime I went to doctors about everything, it's always been, oh, that's your fibro, that's your chronic fatigue, that's your fibro. And, you know, and then I'm diagnosed with irritable bowel syndrome. And then when I start having pains, pelvic pains, it's all to do with your IBS, until it wasn't. And I ended up having a full hysterectomy because of changing cells. So there is a part of you that gets gaslit about having fibro and chronic fatigue. Everything then is lumped into that, because there are so many symptoms, and they overlap. Are you all right? You having a cuddle? It's okay. We're safe. We're all safe. Yes, we are. We're okay. Just as a by-the-by question here, not to do with this video, but would anybody like me to do, I think I've done one, but many years ago, about Annie and me and what Annie means to me, because Annie is reborn therapy. People think you can just have therapy with a doll. No, you can't. Not all of us can. Would anybody like to hear that story? If you would, just say in the comments. Anyway, so I thought, I cannot be in a wheelchair. Come on, Caroline, what can you do about this? You got to push this body. You got to push it. You got to do something. You got to push it. You got to do something. You got to push it. You got to do. So I started running. I almost killed myself by running, because I just did not want to be in a wheelchair and be reliant on somebody that I was with that I couldn't trust or rely on at all. And I had no family. If you know my whole story, you'll know that I don't have family. And so I started running, and I ran and I ran and I ran and I ran and I ran, and I just made myself very, very, very ill. Very ill. And yeah, I ended up with, an eating disorder. So I made myself really poorly. And I think the saving grace from that was being asked to get myself involved more in the school that I was in at the time. And the school that I was in was a Christian school. And let me tell you, while I was running, I would run in the pouring rain. I would run in the snow and the slush. I couldn't run fast enough. And I hurt like hell. And it hurt, and it hurt, and it hurt. And I cried, and I cried, and I cried. And I'd sit on the floor when I was mopping the floor. You know, I'd end up sat on the floor crying my eyes out because it just hurt so much to push the brush around. But no one else was going to do it. I needed to do it. My eldest daughter was brilliant. My children have grown up with mum being like this. And I'm so sorry for them to have that sort of childhood. Because, like, when I was teaching, it was like I would teach for 6 weeks, then I'd have a school holiday. And by God's grace, I was teaching in a private school, which meant we had more holidays. Meant you were off on holiday more. So that's by the grace of God that happened. And so I could rest. So I'd get to the 6 weeks, I'd be literally just being out. And I wasn't working full time. I was not working full time, but I was running. I was running a household. And I don't know how I survived, but I know that I survived because I know Caroline, that little inner Caroline, survived, and she's bloody strong. She is bloody strong. Kathy is amazing and strong, and Carly too, and I am just thankful for them surviving. And so I eventually got asked to be the deputy head of the sixth form of the school, and I did. And I couldn't run so much because I was doing more hours. I wasn't working full time, but I was doing more hours. I was involved in the school outside of my paid work hours and things like that. My children were getting older. It was getting easier. I didn't have to do so much for the children. They were becoming more independent. But when I wasn't working, I would spend the majority of my time lying on the bed. My girls will tell you that, sleeping, lying on the bed. That's not to say I didn't do stuff with them. We did. We went to the cinema. We went to the beach. We went on holiday. We did all those things. Because I just thought there wasn't really like a load of research done in fibro at the time, and there wasn't enough information out there. And I just thought, you know, this was just something I had to live with. I'm always going to feel like this. There's nothing I can do about it. There are people in a worse situation than me. You know, and you just get on with it. Until you don't. Until something happens in your life and you end up having a breakdown and you just cannot do it anymore. Because let me tell you, you cannot keep doing it. So if you are working, I know how hard it is for you. I know how you must sit there in the car sometimes and just cry because you just don't know how you're going to get through the day. My grace is just, God gave me my grace. God helped me through. Jesus was there all the time. I was lifted by all sorts of angels around me who supported me, like friendship wise, if you know what I mean. Like I'd share lifts to go to university. I share a lift with somebody. And so that took the strain off the arms. And when my car broke down, I could catch the train to university and then get on so that was awful because then I'd have to catch the train to the city, get on the university bus to then go to the university and then come back. By the time I got home, I'd have to feed the kids, and oh my God, I don't even know how I did it, but I did. I did, and I always wanted to be a teacher. The Lord knew I always wanted to be a teacher, and he put me in such a good place. Anyway, I decided that I wanted to get myself properly, like a level up qualification teaching. And where I was at the time, the sixth form school, the school with the sixth form, that was not on there. That was not on their thing. It was a private school, and private schools work completely differently to state schools. So I left, and I went to work at teaching on the course that I had done at college myself to get into university. So the Lord had moved me full circle. So I was now teaching people who wanted to go to university themselves, adults who wanted to go back to university, people who had missed out at school and things like that, wanted to go on to university. I never went to university because I had to get a job to help out at the house. So I never went to university until I had my children. So here I was, gone full circle, and I was still in a lot of pain, and I was still part-time. And I did that, and then unfortunately my dad got cancer, and my dad has been the only one person in my life, and even though he wasn't always in my life, he was in and out of my life. Let's just call him a free spirit. He was in and out of my life, but he was the only constant that I ever had in my life. And so he had a year to live, and he passed away. He had cancer and he passed away. And then I had a breakdown, and my doctor then said, you just need to not work. You cannot keep doing this to yourself. You need to stop it. And you need to just take a bit of time off. And I wouldn't. And they were like, how do you expect us to help you if you won't help yourself? So I did. And you know, when I left and I started just allowing myself to rest, I can just see how much harm pushing myself did to my body and me. I don't know how I did all of that. I couldn't tell you how I got through all of that. Only the Lord can. And that is it. So I'm very thankful now that I'm in a better place and a better position with a husband that absolutely cherishes me and just wants me to have a good life. And the Lord I always knew that there was something out there. I always knew that. And now when I feel guilty about not working, because I do, and I loved teaching, absolutely loved, I just couldn't do it anymore. Just could not do it anymore. My body just gave up. And it wasn't until then that I started really seeing how fibromyalgia actually affects me. Really seeing that there are other people with fibromyalgia out there and they feel the same way as me. So I'm not to feel bad about having it. I'm not to feel angry with myself for having it. And it's not my fault that this has happened to me. It's not my fault that I have fibro. It's not my fault that I need to sleep so much, because I don't want to have it and I don't want to sleep so much. It's such a waste of a life, sleeping, to me. There are times that I can sleep straight through 36 hours. And because I upload to YouTube, people don't always see that. This is not a pity. This is not a pity. I don't want anybody to pity me. I just want people with fibro and chronic fatigue to know that I relate. That I relate to you. wouldn't believe it until he's seen it. He knows how much I sleep. He knows how upset I get about how I just get so frustrated and angry with having it. And that doesn't do you any favors. You've got it. There's nothing I can do about it. I've just got to learn to rest. And when I get stressed, it gets worse. I'm definitely seeing over the last 2 years more symptoms, more double vision. I get double vision, brain fog. You've seen in the video that I forget, and that's because of the tiredness. It's like my brain starts like shutting down. So things like I can't wear sunglasses because when I wear sunglasses, like it's my brain thinks, oh, sleepy time, because things are going darker. So that's why you don't see me wearing sunglasses. I cannot wear them because my eyes start to get really heavy and want to go to sleep. Yes, so everybody has like different symptoms, and I don't really know if I can list. I was thinking about this earlier. I don't think I can list my symptoms. I don't know what is fibromyalgia, what is chronic fatigue, or what is like sensory issues as well, because I can't wear certain things because I can't stand the feel of them. And I don't know if that's because of the fibro, our bodies are hypersensitive. So even like a touch hurts. So I have lipedema in my legs and in the tops of my arms. And so that lipedema hurts as well. So as well as having fibro, the lipedema in your body hurts when someone presses my legs. They, oh, it's like, just get off. And some people don't understand, it's just the lightest touch. A shower can absolutely just hurt. I never have the shower on full. See, I never even noticed those things until I started talking to other people. So I don't have the shower on full. I like it on the low jet. So Russ likes it to pound him. I like it on the low jet. Things just do hurt. Like your handbag. I know other people are like, my handbag really hurts on my shoulder too. But mine feels like I'm carrying around like bowling balls sometimes in it. So let me see if I can find like what the NHS says is. Then that will give you a better idea. And let me see how many I can say yes. Fibromyalgia symptoms. And the HS. Let's see what they have to say. Oh, symptoms. The main symptom is widespread pain. This is just from the NHS website. There may be periods when your symptoms get better or worse depending on factors such as your stress levels. I'd already told you that, didn't I? Changes in the weather. Yes. I cannot stand really, really hot heat or cold. I have to have like in the middle. And also physically active you are. Now I was at the start when I had fibro, when I was diagnosed, I was told to exercise. Do you know how horrendous it is to exercise and collapse afterwards? Yeah, when I was doing all the running, so this was exercise, you know, this is like I was going to be in a wheelchair, right? Well, you know, get exercising, yada yada yada. When I got in from exercising, I had other things to do, so I never ever could just collapse until I got in my bed. But as soon as we got home from school, that, you know, that was it. Tea was always something easy so that mum could just collapse. And my kids, I feel so bad for them having such a waste on them. Right, widespread pain, worse in particular areas such as your back or neck. Sometimes it's heavy weight to even hold your head up. The pain can feel like an ache, a burning sensation, or a sharp stabbing pain, mostly an ache. Mine are mostly an ache. Extremely sensitive to pain all over your body. Even the slightest touch is painful. If you hurt yourself, such as stubbing your toe, the pain may continue for much longer than it normally would. Yes. So there's other ways. Hyperalgesia, where you're extremely sensitive to pain. Allodynia, when you feel pain from something that should be not painful at all, such as a very light touch. Well, that's me, some things. You may be sensitive to things like smoke, certain food, bright lights. Yeah, definitely bright lights. Stiffness can make you feel stiff, most severe when you've been in the same position or when you first wake up in the morning. Yes. It's like you need someone to wind you up. Yeah, fatigue. Fibromyalgia can cause tiredness. This can range from feeling mildly tired to the exhaustion often felt during a flu-like illness. Severe tiredness, fatigue may come on suddenly and can drain you of all your energy. And if this happens, you may feel too tired to do anything at all. Yes. So I'm struggling with this area of my life at the moment because being grandparents and Rebecca's, my eldest daughter's, change in her circumstances means that Grandma and Granddad have stepped up to look after Jack while she works. She's a nurse. And she went back on a maternity leave, and the hospital organised her shifts for the first 2 months or 3 months. I can't remember really. And so until like she went back to work and started talking to them and asked them if she could cut down her hours because, you know, her mum's got fibro and ME or chronic fatigue, whatever you want to call it. And now her mum's got a bad headache. Those shorter hours don't really start until July. So we are muddling through at the moment and Grandma is tired. We were driving out today I'm filming this as Saturday the 31st of May, and we were driving to the town today, and I just said to Russ, my husband, I said, I can just sit here and cry as I'm driving. And he's like, don't do that. And I said, but I'm so tired. But what is the alternative? To just sit in bed and just waste my life? That has never been me. That can't be me. I can't do that. I'm programmed to survive, it seems like. Okay, so you can get poor quality sleep. Fibromyalgia can affect your sleep. You may often wake up tired even when you've had plenty of sleep. Yes. This is because the condition can sometimes prevent you sleeping deeply enough to refresh you properly. You may hear this as non-restorative sleep. Yes. Cognitive problems, brain fog. Cognitive problems are issues related to mental processes such as thinking and learning. So you may have trouble remembering and learning new things, problems with attention and concentration, slow or confused speech, which I do have. Now, when I was teaching, the way to get around these things, which I didn't even know I was doing it to get around these things because there just wasn't enough stuff back in the early 2000s. There wasn't enough knowledge and research on fibro. I had like a diary with absolutely every single thing written down that I had to do. I had a diary on my desk teaching and it had everything written down. I had my own notepad. I always have bits of paper, even now. So I carry bits of paper when I'm writing stuff down on it. But I always thought that was just me and that's what I was doing. But it's extreme. It is extreme. And it isn't that you're doing it to be organized. It's doing it because you won't remember. You'll get muddled. Something will go wrong. See, so this is why I say it's just for the grace of God that got me through everything. Because also, when I moved to help those adults, did the course for the adults to move on to university, when I upgraded my teaching qualification then, after that, I went on and did a master's degree. So I actually have a master's degree as well. And then I was going to go on and do a PhD. And then my dad got sick. So things changed. But all these things I had unwittingly worked around it with things I was doing. So it's like people who are adults now being diagnosed with autism or dyslexia, dyspraxia in adulthood, because we didn't have the diagnostic tools years ago to help those, and they'd all created their own strategies to help them. So if fibromyalgia caused you to experience pain and stiffness in your neck and shoulders, you may also have frequent headaches, mild headaches to severe migraines. So I also went through, not long ago, a really bad period with headaches, and a little bit of wind would give me a headache. Just a tiny bit of wind. I really do struggle with the wind. And I wear a lot of hats, as you guys will have seen. I wear a lot of hats because I do struggle with the wind, because it gives me a headache straight away. IBS is a common digestive condition that causes pain and bloating in your stomach. Other symptoms: dizziness and clumsiness. Yes. So I have had, what's it? When you, it came to me then. That thing that makes you really, really dizzy. Someone's going to shout it out on the screen. I know it. I know it is. Sarah will probably shout it out. Oh, what is it? It's when you feel really dizzy and you can't lift your head from the pillow and all of that. I get that. This is the one that Russ can't cope with. Feeling too hot or too cold. This is because you're not able to regulate your body temperature properly. Russ hates that one, because I have to say to him, is it really hot today or is it just me? I'm freezing, and I've always got blankets. Even in the summer, I've got a linen blanket that I put over me. An overwhelming urge to move your legs, so restless leg syndrome. This happened to me a lot when I used to work. Doesn't happen to me so much now. I could be out running at 5 o'clock in the morning because my legs just would not settle. Tingling, numbness, prickling or burning sensations in your hands and feet. Yes, I definitely get numbness in my feet, and I've told my friend Sarah about that. Tingling and numbness. In fact, they're hurting right now. In women, painful periods. Yay! Yes, yes, yes. And you're gaslit about that. And then in the end, you end up having to have everything out when you're 40 because it's all rotting. And anxiety. Depression. Constantly feeling low, feeling helpless, hopeless, and losing interest. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. So please go and speak to your doctor, because we know it's more in women than it is in men, but men can get fibromyalgia and definitely chronic fatigue. So they started calling it like the yuppie flu when it first came out, because it was like athletes that were being diagnosed with it because they were collapsing. So it was called the yuppie flu back in the time. And it's usually from people that are that do too much. I can't remember what you call it. I can't remember because my brain ain't working. My fibro is definitely not good at the moment. I mean, over the last 2 years, I feel like my symptoms have worsened, but definitely since we've had to look after Jack, because that's what families do. Takes a village, and we have like not a village, we have a hamlet. So my fibro is definitely worse at the moment. So that's why I can't make any plans to go and see anybody. There are so many of you that I want to meet up with. There is Roz, there is Sarah, there is Sam and Ben, my goddaughter, my godson and his mum. There is Hannah over in Wales. These are the people I want to see. I will see other people at the doll show next week. So I've got to rest next week. This week coming. I've got Jack tomorrow afternoon. Rebecca's on a late, so I'll have Russell come over and help by taking him out for a bike ride. I can have a little break, and then it'll be like me just giving him, we'll have an afternoon rest, have a little play outside, have tea, so it won't be too bad. And then I do a sleep on Wednesday, so I sleep over. Rebecca does a night and I sleep over, so that is good because I can sleep with Jack then. I mean, Jack can sleep, so I can sleep at the same time as Jack. Does that make sense? So I'm not doing early shift completely with him, all on my own. So we've tried to work it so that, you know, it suits the three of us, me, Russ and Rebecca, because really that's all she's got. Jack starts nursery in September though. So there are all sorts of things that you can look up. Please go on the NHS website and have a look, because then you'll see what the reasons why and things like that, which they're always changing their minds because there's so much now. There is so much research going on into it. How do I manage it? I used to manage it with the warmth. So when I was working, I would, every night when I came home from work, while the kids were getting organized and getting themselves doing their homework, whatever, I would have a hot bath straight away, because that relaxes all the muscles and all the tension. So regardless if you've got fibromyalgia, that was still good for you. So that would give me another couple of hours to get through the tea time routine, the making sure everybody's like happy with their homework and God knows what, walking the dog, all of that. Spending time with the children, listening to what they've done in their day. We always had tea around the table, listening to the children. And, you know, I just would have that bath to just help me get through those next few hours with as little pain as I could. And then I would just, that's it. I would just collapse in a heat. My ex-husband would just play on his computer anyway, all night long. So, yeah, and that was basically our life. So then, after my dad died and I had a nervous breakdown and my fibro just went, and I stopped working. Russ got a hot tub so I could go in the hot tub. Going in the hot tub developed psoriasis on me. So then I had to have my head shaved because I ended up with my hair falling out. I ended up with alopecia patches and in my hair, and psoriasis all over my head, all around my ears, around my eyes, all under my breasts, under my belly flab, and that is all inverted psoriasis. So yeah, now I don't wear a bra because I don't care what they say. It rubs, it gets sweaty and it just gets wet, and it rubs and rubs and rubs and makes it worse and worse and worse. So I don't wear a bra. Very rarely. And also heated blankets. So I have heated blankets. I also wear these like leg compressions. So not tights. They're like when you have the blood pressure thing on you. They're like that. I've put a few photos a few times on my Facebook page, and you wrap them all around your legs. They go from there's one big wrap around the top of your leg, one long wrap around the bottom part of your leg, and a wrap around my feet, and they just they just blow up with air like you're having a blood pressure machine on your legs, and then they relax. And sometimes I'll have that on in the night for hours, just to help my legs, because I've got lipedema as well, so that hurts, and you're trying to help the fluid to move around, so you don't want to get it any worse. So that doesn't help. And I also am medicated. So the medication usually in the UK is gabapentin and amitriptyline. That is really the medication that they put you on. I also take I take amitriptyline, is for the pain and the headaches and just everything. It just is a relaxant. And then I take gabapentin, which is a pain medication, which is now can't remember, some sort of like label attached to it, like a secure medication, or I don't know, something like that. So it's quite strong apparently, and I take the highest doses in all of them. I have antidepressant medication, citalopram, but citalopram is really good if you have flashbacks. So for my childhood, I have complex PTSD, and so that's what citalopram helps with that. Now, doctors all have their own different opinions. Someone might say, oh, it's an antidepressant. Someone might say it's for this. Some might say it's for that. I take amitriptyline to relax my body. I take citalopram for as an antidepressant, but also to stop the flashbacks for the PTSD. And that has worked really well. And that has been the only medication that has worked to stop the flashbacks. So we take citalopram, amitriptyline, gabapentin. I take propranolol. So propranolol, as I said, is a beta blocker. So really for anxiety and to thin the blood. Because I was having really bad panic attacks. But that also, so much in my life that all happens at the same time, as well as having fibro. You know, I've got so many other things going on. And so those are the ones I get. Oh no, well, and I've got no thyroid now. So we've been down that route, all of us together. So that also creates slow speech and slow cognitive behavior, because my little cells, every single cell in my body now has no powerhouse. So your thyroid powers your body, every little cell in your body. So when you don't have a thyroid, it doesn't do that. So you're medicated to create that in your body. So if Russ wanted to kill me, all he has to do is like take that medication away or something like that, because I would gradually slow down. I can remember when I very first started taking it, it was such a low dose that I ended up walking into a chemist and could hardly speak to the chemist. I could hardly get my words out, and I had to go straight to my doctor. So it's not just the fibro that's going on or the fatigue. There's so many other layers to my life and what's happened in my life to create other things that have gone on. So I also then take a magnesium supplement, vitamin B12 supplement, and vitamin D supplement. So there, that's what I take for it. I do feel it's getting worse. I do have a walking stick. I seriously want to get a mobility scooter. I talk about it so much, but because I'm a pusher, I push myself through things. And sometimes I wish I didn't, because I just want to have it easy. I just want to have it easy. I'm lucky that I don't have to work, so I do have it easy in that respect. And I know being in a wheelchair is not easy, because I have friends that are in wheelchairs, and I know it's not easy. And so I don't mean that. I just mean like today when we were in town, I just wanted my legs not to have to walk anymore, or my body to not have to like keep putting one foot in front of the other. And then I say to Russ about it, and he's like, yeah, but you're doing it. Well done, you. And I just look at him and I think, no, it's not well done. I just want to cry. I just want to cry. I don't want to do this anymore. But you do, don't you? You do. You get up the next day and you do it. So I'm filming this because I really wanted to get up a fibromyalgia awareness video. And now I've spoken for over an hour, and I'm so sorry. But I know that my regular viewers, and my members know that I can talk for an hour anyway, because we have an hour live chat every Monday with the friendship level tier members. They pay $5.49 a month and we all join together on a Monday night for an hour's live. Next week we'll have a live this Monday, but the following week we won't. It'll be on the Sunday, and it'll be with my friend Tracy, and we'll be doing live from our hotel room after the doll show is finished. That would be really exciting. But I don't do a public live. I just want a small community live. So, but you'll see all the doll show bits and pieces anyway. So the question, the questions are you've got to answer both questions in the comments. This is to win. This is to have a chance on the wheel. And we spin the wheel for the prizes that I showed earlier. So one is, what is the recognized color of fibromyalgia? And what is the recognized insect for fibromyalgia? Really simple, really easy. But I want you to write them. I want you to know them. I want you to be aware of them. And the deadline will be, because I'm at the doll show the following week, the deadline will be Saturday. Let me find the date. I'm doing the video today, and I will make the deadline. Let's have a look. Find my calendar. Not there. There. So it's like, even for instance, like booking the hotel room and all of that. Well, my friend Tracy has done that, so that's great. But normally I get my children or Russ to book my hotel rooms, because I just, following the instructions just gets me right stressed. I'd be so much happier if I could just walk into a Premier Inn and say, can I have a room for a night? And they don't do that. They say, no, you've got to do it online. I've done that before and had to sit in my car and fill it out. Anyway, let's have a look at the date. So we're on the 31st today. So the deadline is going to be Friday, the 6th of June at 11:59 British summertime. 11:59 or 23:59. So 11:59 p.m, 23:59 p.m. British summertime. I'll write everything down in the description of this video. So you will see all of that you will see all of that. Look in the description if you've can't remember what I've said, because this is a long video and I'm very sorry. And I don't even know how long it'll take to get up, because our internet around here has been crazy this week. So anyway, thank you very much for listening to me waffle on. If you've got fibromyalgia, and I know so many people, so many people that have, just know that I get it. I get it. If you have chronic fatigue, I get it. If you have a chronic illness, I get it. I may not understand your symptoms or that, or whatever it is you've got, but I do appreciate how much it impacts your life. And so when you see me uploading videos and you think, wow, Caroline does so much, what I don't show is the beds, the time I'm in bed. That's what I don't show. The time I got my leg things on, that's what I don't show. The times I'm sitting crying and then feeling really shit because I'm so lucky to have what I have, a bungalow finally. I mean, that's another reason why we moved to the bungalows, because of the wheelchair situation and knowing that I feel really awful. And that's why we moved to the bungalow. So sorry, lost my trail of thought. Let's just leave it there then, eh? Shall we just leave it there, Pumpkin? Thank you so much for listening to me waffling on. Thank you so much for watching me. Thank you so much for supporting us. To all our channel members, we love you. Thank you very much for supporting us and being here and cheering me up on a Monday. Because we have, in our members, it's just a little group of us, and we have such a good support network for each other, and I love that. It's just, I would never have a big group because I just like that support network. But thank you very much, everybody, for listening to us. I hope you've learned something about fibromyalgia from my waffling on. I love you. So, and also don't forget to answer that question I asked you about Annie and I. And we will see you in the next video. How I do the winner is I always spin the wheel and we do the winner. And what I might do actually is do it on my live with my live members, so they'll know who won before you do, because then I'll put it up. You can always watch our live videos a week after. So we have our lives on a Monday, and then the following Monday, you, the public, can get to see that live. So if you're looking for a video of mine to watch that you haven't watched, click on the live tab and you'll see all the lives that we've had. We've had something like 26 lives now. It's been great. Anyway, there we go. Please answer the questions. Join in our giveaway, fibromyalgia giveaway. Spread awareness about chronic illness and fibromyalgia, because it is so hard to get diagnosed. And here we go again. Bye-bye. We'll see you in the next video.